particularly our next guest, Eduardo Bolsonaro. Eduardo, thank you. Since Lula is trying to lead the de-dollarization effort because he hates the United States, he's a Marxist he's in business with and a partner of the Chinese Communist Party, I might say a junior partner of the Chinese Communist Party. Eduardo, big announcement coming out of state the other day. Walk us through the latest of where the sanctions are, how the United States, the standoff between the United States and these demons in your home country of Brazil, sir.
First, we have to thank a lot President Trump. He's the greatest leader ever in the history of the humanity, in my opinion. And he started to giving some pressure in the financial system of Brazil with the 50% tariffs, and clearly saying that this is not only because commercial trade issues, but also because Brazil is living a huge institutional crisis. And the Brazilian establishment is answering that, sending Jair Bolsonaro, for example, beginning Alexandre de Moraes, this crazy justice from the Supreme Court, imposing him an ankle bracelet. And in the end of this day, Trump took 8 visas of the 11 justices of the Brazilian Supreme Court, and then Alexandre de Moraes doubling down again, sent Bolsonaro to house arrest, and Trump sanctioned Alexandre de Moraes with all facts sanctions. So now we are in a point where a partner of Alexandre de Moraes inside of the Brazilian Supreme Court is saying that the Brazilian banks should not follow the all facts sanctions. What they did not understand that the Magnitsky Global Act is not an American law that the United States pretended to enforce in other countries. It's only a law saying that, okay, if you are a bank and you want to have access to the financial market of the United States, you have to accomplish with the all-fact list of sanctioned. And there you have Alexandre de Moraes. So the banks of Brazil nowadays, they have to decide in following the Supreme Court or following the OFAC sanction list. And I do believe that they do not have other options, and they have to follow the Magnitsky Global Act law, because other way they are going to bankrupt, because you cannot survive as a bank without access to the greatest financial market in the world, which it is in the United States.
Is there anything else we can do except cutting off all imports from Brazil? I mean, what are there any other steps that President Trump, Secretary Scott Bessent, who you met, I put your picture up on my social media, Rubio, because people understand President Trump is very focused on this. Scott Bessent's very focused on the fact when Secretary Bessent, our old colleague, met with Eduardo, he canceled the meetings with the finance minister. Rubio's all over this. You have many people that are all over this. Is there anything else for our audience to be thinking about that can still be done to assist your father and the people in Brazil we love so much?
Yes. First, the press in Brazil, they were saying that the Brazilians are not applying correctly. I mean, the banks are not applying correctly the Global Magnitsky Act, which means that Alexandre de Moraes, he's sanctioned, but he is still holding some banking accounts in Brazil. And so this is the first asking that we did for Secretary Scott Bessent to properly inform or enforce the Global Magnitsky Act against Alexandre de Moraes. And now that I have other justices in the Supreme Court supporting Alexandre de Moraes, he also can be sanctioned, because through the American law of the Global Magnitsky Act, it says that doesn't matter who work in support of the sanctioned, this person is also going to be sanctioned. So this is other point. And we are increasing the pressure to accomplish with the letter of President Trump to President Lula da Silva, which in the first paragraph talks about the lawfare and the persecution against Jair Bolsonaro, my father, our family, and our supporters. So to answer that, we need to approve what we have in the Congress we call the amnesty bill. Is a pardon coming from the Congress. And we do need that not only to release Jair Bolsonaro from jail and to let me go back to my country, Brazil, but also to have a full participation of the opposition in the next year election.
Yep. Okay, we're going to be all over that. Eduardo, your social media, how do people keep up with you? We're all over the amnesty bill. We'll have you back on next week to go through it. Where do people go on social media to keep up minute by minute on this great fight for freedom in the great nation of Brazil, sir?
You can go through Bolsonaro SP, reminding you Americans that we, Alexandre de Moraes, blocked the Rumble in Brazil. So we do not have Rumble in Brazil, but in all other social medias, I am Bolsonaro SP. Thank you very much for this opportunity against Steve. You are doing a great work in favor of the freedom in Brazil.
Eduardo, the audience loves you, your family, the nation, the Bolsonaro movement down there. It's incredible. This is a fight that everybody's engaged in. So thank you so much, sir.